My brother Daniel was caught in a teen romance, and I was called to school as his guardian. Unexpectedly, his homeroom teacher turned out to be my high school sweetheart, Kai. Does your family have a tradition of teen romance? Not at all, it's all thanks to the teacher's excellent guidance. After instinctively retorting, the entire office fell into dead silence. Me. No, teacher. Please let me explain.
Welcome to listen to my full sweet love series novel. I'm the blogger and I'm Twilight's novel. Now let's start the main story.
If I had known I would run into Kai today, I wouldn't have rushed to school with greasy hair, no makeup, and reeking of hot pot. The most awkward thing isn't running into an ex, but running into an ex who looks even more handsome and put together than before, while you aren't wearing makeup. Are you Daniel's guardian? Kai's voice was cool and detached. I'm his homeroom teacher, Kai. Even though we broke up years ago, surely he still recognizes me, right? Kai and I got together during our senior year of high school. He was the top student. I was the slacker. That year, he dragged my grades up by sheer force, and we ended up at universities in the same city. But the two schools were at opposite ends, one in the southern part, the other in the north. It took 3 transfers and 3 hours to travel between them by subway. On top of that, after starting university, he got busy with lab work and competitions, leaving even less time for us. Back then I was young and impulsive. The word breakup slipped out too easily. In the years that followed, though we were in the same city, we never ran into each other. Who'd have thought we'd meet again under these circumstances? As the guardian of a teen romance offender, I naturally felt inferior in front of the teacher and adopted a respectful attitude. Hello, Mr. Kai. I'm Daniel's older sister, Sophie. Growing up, my mischievous nature had gotten me into the principal's office plenty of times, but this was the first time I'd felt so flustered. Thinking of this, my desire to strangle Daniel grew even stronger. If it weren't for him, would I be in this mess? Both our parents were away on business trips. Otherwise, it wouldn't have fallen to me to suffer this humiliation. The other students' parents were present too. Outnumbered 2 to 1, I apologized profusely. Fortunately, they were reasonable people. Kai handed over the 2 kids' report cards. They're in their final year now, just months away from the college entrance exams. Their mindset is crucial. I've already talked to them. They've promised to focus on their studies and not let their grades slip. I called you here today so the parents can provide proper guidance. Holding the report card, I muttered under my breath. No wonder the kid's been burning the midnight oil lately. He really takes after me. Kai paused, finally lifting his gaze to look at me. Does your family have a tradition of teen romance? Why did that sound so condescending? Meeting his dark, cool eyes, my mind went blank, and I instinctively retorted. Not at all, it's all thanks to the teacher's excellent guidance. Silence. The entire office froze. The other parents and teachers stared at me, wide-eyed, as if they'd seen a ghost. Then I realized what I'd just said. Oh, Mr. Kai, that's not what I meant. Don't misunderstand. Just then, the other parents got a call and left first. Now it was just Kai and me. The atmosphere was beyond awkward. So I prepared to make my escape. Kai stood up to see me out. Every step was agony. Once outside, just as I thought I was finally free, Kai spoke up, his voice calm. I didn't teach him to pursue someone proactively. Me, who'd actively pursued Kai back in the day. In high school, Kai was the secret crush of countless girls. I was different. I was open about it. The whole world knew how much I liked him. The whole world knew how hard he was to get. So when we finally got together, it shocked everyone. The way he looked at me now was exactly the same as when I'd first confessed. Utterly unmoved. A nameless fire flared in my chest. Without thinking, I blurted out. Mr. Kai, let's be honest. I was the one who pursued you back then, but I was also the one who dumped you. The moment the words left my mouth, I regretted them. He wasn't my boyfriend anymore. He was my brother's homeroom teacher. What kind of death wish had possessed me to say something so disrespectful? Fortunately, my useless brother appeared just in time to save me. Sis. Turns out the kid had been waiting outside the office the whole time. I hurriedly said, Mr. Kai, no need to see me out. I'll just talk to Daniel for a bit and leave. My friend's waiting at the gate. Without daring to look at his expression, I quickly dragged Daniel into the hallway. He gave me a weird look. "Sis, why are you so nervous?" I jumped like a scalded cat. "Who's nervous?" Daniel rolled his eyes. "I've known you for 17 years. You think I can't tell?" He glanced back. "Our homeroom teacher isn't that scary, is he?" "Daniel, you're the one who got caught in a teen romance. Shouldn't you be reflecting instead of arguing with me?" "Daniel, but sis, didn't you have a teen romance too?" "I never saw you reflecting." "Thanks, I'm officially dead," I said flatly. "So now karma's come for me. Your homeroom teacher is my ex from back then." "Daniel?" His face went through a series of horrified expressions before settling on agony. "I'm doomed." "Sis, you had your fun, but you didn't spare a single thought for your brother's survival. You weren't this scared when you got caught in a teen romance. Besides, how was I supposed to know Kai would end up as your homeroom teacher?" Outside the school gates, I got straight into a car parked by the roadside. My best friend Faye glanced at me. Got lectured by the homeroom teacher. It happened to be a holiday, so we'd made plans to eat hot pot together. Afterward, she'd driven me straight to the school. I slumped into the passenger seat, drained. No, but something 10,000 times worse. His homeroom teacher is Kai. Faye said, "Oh," then 3 seconds later screamed, "Holy shit!" I covered my ears, but she yanked my hands away. "Kai, your high school sweetheart." I gave a weak hum. Faye clutched her head. "Oh no, Daniel's doomed. His sister dumped his homeroom teacher. How's he supposed to survive now?" "Me. Does no one think I'm suffering here too?" "Suffer my ass." Faye scoffed. "You bagged the school's unattainable heartthrob, then dumped him. Who could top that?" Fine. Though I hated to admit it, given Kai's looks and stature, he absolutely lived up to that reputation. "It's been years. Let's not bring it up." Seeing how deflated I was, Faye reluctantly swallowed her gossip and changed the subject. "By the way, Vivian and Liam are getting married this Saturday. Are you going?" They were both high school classmates. More importantly, Liam and Kai were close. He'd probably invite him. "Want me to tell them you're not coming?" For some reason, Kai's detached, unflappable demeanor from earlier flashed through my mind. A strange restlessness churned in my chest. We're all adults now. What's the point of dredging up the past? Besides, he's my brother's homeroom teacher. It's not like I can avoid him forever. "I'm going." On Saturday, I put on a dress, did my makeup, and headed to the wedding venue. The bride and groom stood at the entrance greeting guests. I handed over my red envelope and congratulated them. "Congratulations." The bride glanced behind me and said brightly, "Sophie, did you come with Kai?" I turned and saw Kai just a few steps behind me, walking toward us. Today, he wore a white button-down and black dress pants. Simple, clean, and striking. Some people effortlessly became the center of attention. Kai was one of them. He seemed to have heard too, lifting his gaze to meet mine. Dark hair, dark eyes, radiating an untouchable, icy allure. After a second of eye contact, I quickly turned back, awkwardly explaining, "No." The bride looked puzzled, but the groom gently tugged her arm and went to greet Kai. "Kai, so glad you could make it." I hurried inside, soon spotting Faye waving at me. "Sophie, over here." I rushed over, thinking I'd finally escaped, only to freeze when I saw the high school classmates at table sign. Looking around, I realized every face was familiar. Me. Then Kai arrived. Only 2 seats were left. One to my left, one directly across. "Class prez. Over here." A guy who'd been close with Kai called out. Given what had happened at the entrance, even the blind could tell we'd broken up. Footsteps approached. Staring at the white teacup in front of me, I inexplicably grew tense. Then he walked past the seat to my left, and took the one across from me. The table fell silent for a beat. Fortunately, the guy who'd called Kai over was good at breaking the ice, and the conversation soon picked up again. "I heard the class prez is teaching at number 1 high now? That's a top-tier school. Super hard to get into. What else would you expect from our class prez? Talented people excel wherever they go. Honestly, I never thought Liam and Vivian would be the first among us to tie the knot. I always thought it'd be class prez and... The speaker caught himself and shut up. Several pairs of eyes darted between Kai and me. Back then, Kai and I had been loud and proud. The whole school knew. No one had expected it to end like this. Unconsciously, I glanced at him. The man across from me had his head slightly bowed as he poured tea, the line from his brow to his nose flawless, as if none of this concerned him. I felt stifled and excused myself to the restroom. Faye texted, "Be honest, with a guy like that, don't you regret breaking up? Why not get him back?" Outside the stall, hushed voices reached me. I can't believe Kai and Sophie actually broke up. After all the effort she put into chasing him. So what? A guy like Kai can have anyone. They were never a good match to begin with. Exactly. I don't think Kai liked her that much anyway. Probably just gave in after she kept pursuing him, then dumped her later. Turns out adults love bringing up the past. Though I was the one who dumped Kai, the rest wasn't wrong. I typed a reply to Faye, bragging. Get this straight. I was the one who didn't want him. If anyone's doing the chasing, it'd be him chasing me. Faye. 6. Faye. Aim high. Tragic. Pipe dream. By the time those girls finished chatting, I finally emerged. Back at the table, a few people had gotten tipsy, and the mood was lively again. I sat down to keep eating, but Faye pinched me under the table. Why'd you block me? I side-eyed her. You know why. Hey, Sophie. Someone called my name, Emily, one of the girls who'd been trash-talking me in the restroom. We'd had some friction in high school. If not for the wedding, we wouldn't have been at the same table. She'd had a crush on Kai back then. After we got together, she'd given me trouble more than once. Smiling, she asked, "Mind if I ask, are you single now?" The table quieted. "You've already asked, so why the fake courtesy?" She added, "I have single friends. Want me to set you up?" I smiled. "Thanks, but no need. My standards are pretty high." The silence deepened. Her smile nearly cracked, but with Kai right there as living proof, she couldn't refute it. After a pause, her eyes darted around. "So, you haven't dated anyone since?" What was she implying? That I couldn't do better than Kai? Or, as she'd said earlier, that a guy like him must have been slumming with me? Sure I have. 2 or 3. One was after Kai. On a whim, I'd agreed to date a senior at my college. But when he tried to hold my hand on the 3rd day, I'd been so repulsed I ended it. The other was after graduation, when my aunt set me up on a blind date. This one didn't even last 3 days. During the second meal, he'd gone on about wanting me to quit my job to be a stay-at-home mom, so I'd blocked him on the spot. Technically, saying I'd dated 2 or 3 wasn't a lie. The reactions around the table were priceless. I broke the silence with a smile. You've got to try different people to know who's right for you. Kai looked up and gave me a long, quiet look. I couldn't take the weird atmosphere anymore and decided to strike first. "Mr. Kai, don't you agree?" Emily looked scandalized. "Why are you calling him Mr. Kai?" "Oh right. He's my brother's homeroom teacher now. We met just the other day." "Hear that? This is what a Model X looks like. This is making peace with your youthful past. This is... Don't know." Kai set down his teacup, his fingers pale against the porcelain, his voice cool. "I've only dated one person." The air solidified. For a second, I wondered if Kai was deliberately backstabbing me, making me out to be the heartless villain in front of everyone. But at the same time, my heart started racing uncontrollably. How many years had it been since we broke up? With Kai's looks, he could have had any number of girlfriends if he'd wanted. Yet he'd said he'd only dated one person. As my thoughts spiraled, the bride and groom came to toast, and the topic was dropped. When the banquet ended, everyone filed out. I saw Emily sidle up to Kai, her voice sugary. "Class prez. My nephew's about to take the high school entrance exams. Could I get your WeChat? I might need your advice later." So different from the way she'd been trash-talking me in the restroom. Did she really think no one saw through her? I quickened my pace, not wanting to hear Kai's response. But his cool voice carried clearly. "I teach seniors now and don't handle admissions. You can call the school's academic office for inquiries. Emily was mortified. Okay. Fate scared. Gotta admit, the class prez is still as popular as ever. But his rejection game's gotten sharper. I was looking for my car when she added, "You left so fast. You missed Emily's face. Priceless." I brushed it off. Nothing new. If he couldn't say no, his WeChat would have been full ages ago. Back when I'd wanted his QQ info, I'd left soy milk on his desk for a whole week. I'd skimped on lunch money to afford it. Hard to believe I'd had that much audacity and persistence back then. True. Did you hear? He's only dated one person all these years. Faye gave me a thumbs up. Impressed. Sophie, I take it back. I thought you were just blowing smoke about making him chase you, but now I think it could happen. I paused. Faye, what if he's liked me all along? Faye. Then I realized she'd blocked me. Thanks. I put my phone away and finally dared to look at Kai. Kai, how did you recognize that guy just now? He lifted his gaze to meet mine. My heartbeat sped up. I didn't even know what answer I was waiting for. Kai and I had gone to different colleges. Though we'd visited each other's campuses, there was no way he'd have met that guy. Only one explanation. Is that important? Kai countered. I froze. Sophie. His eyes darkened, his lips pressing into a thin line. The warm light cast on his striking features overlapped with the boy he'd been. What matters is, I'm jealous. I barged into Faye's apartment that night. She looked at me like I was hopeless. So, the guy just glances back, and you forgive him? I flopped onto her bed. I don't know. I know we can't go back to how things were. What's done is done. But he's Kai. The Kai Sophie had loved since she was 16. Truth was, we'd spent far more time apart than together. I'd thought time would smooth everything over. But only now did I realize how differently those years weighed. The years without him seemed to compress into light, repetitive fragments the moment he said those words. Only the days with him had been vivid and blazing. Looking back after the breakup, I started thinking maybe he did like me. When he found out I'd gone hungry for a week to afford his soy milk, he started bringing me breakfast every day. When I felt too dumb to keep studying, he never lost patience. Remember Emily? She put a cockroach in my desk. I wasn't even scared, but Kai got so angry. I'd never seen him look so cold. She avoided me until graduation. There was more. I'd always been careless, too smitten to notice anything but Kai. The slightest neglect from him would loom large. But after we broke up, I began recalling details I'd overlooked. Faye thought for a long time before cupping my face. What luck this guy has meeting you. Here's the plan. Make him chase you. Spend more time together, hash things out. Then decide if you want to give it another shot. I kissed her cheek. My thoughts exactly. Reality was less rosy. You can't expect a high school senior homeroom teacher to have much time or energy to spare. After dropping that loaded line, Mr. Kai regrettably didn't launch any grand romantic gestures. He just started sending me Daniel's grades separately after forwarding them to our parents. Sometimes he'd mention a concept Daniel and I had both struggled with. Except Daniel got it after one explanation, while I'd needed a dozen. I'd argue, lose the argument, then fume. Mr. Kai, do all you STEM people have memories this good? Kai had been busy with practice exams and didn't reply until that night. I remember everything about you. March arrived in a blink, time for Daniel's coming-of-age ceremony. Kai sent me a personal invitation. I pretended to hesitate. My parents will be there. Do I need to go? Kai called me directly. I bolted upright, tense. We'd been texting on and off, with his daily good morning and good night messages becoming routine. But this was the first time he'd called. I cleared my throat and sat up straight before answering. Mr. Kai. For a long moment, there was only static. Then he finally spoke, his voice low and cool, like a feather brushing my ear. I want to see you. The next day, I went to the school with my parents. Daniel looked me up and down. Sis, you got a hot date after this? Daniel, don't make me slap you on this happy occasion. Number 1 High was a top-tier school, and the ceremony was grand. The 17 and 18-year-olds brimmed with youthful energy. I took a few photos of Daniel before he disappeared. Soon, he pulled me aside. "Sis, can you take a picture of us?" Luna stood beside him. Maybe because others were around, the two kept a careful distance, shy and awkward. I gave a thumbs up. In the frame, the floral arch behind them was beautiful. For a second, my mind flashed back. During our senior year, our school had also held a coming-of-age ceremony, on Kai's 18th birthday. "Sis." Daniel waved a hand in front of my face after the photo. "What's got you so distracted?" I snapped back. "Just thinking. You're not as bold as I thought, keeping your distance like that." Daniel coughed, scratching his head. "Her parents are here." My parents had attended my ceremony too, but Kai's had been too busy, which had been my opening. I dragged him to the rooftop. "Kai, I got you a birthday present." His dark eyes met mine. He'd always been like this, stoic, detached. Even with the lively cheers and fireworks below, even on his birthday. "A present?" he'd ask softly. Heart pounding, I'd stood on tiptoe and kissed him. That was my first kiss. I'd meant to bolt after a peck, but something came over Kai that day. He'd gripped my hand, pulled me close and kissed me back. Clumsy but intense. Later he'd asked, "Will you spend every birthday with me from now on?" Dazed, I'd replied, "Can I kiss you every time?" "Then sure." Honestly, I'd just been giddy back then. Looking back now was painful. Poor Kai, stuck with a lovesick girl for his first love. As I wallowed, a familiar voice spoke behind me. "Mr. Kai, let's take a photo together too?" I turned to see the math teacher smiling at Kai. They'd just finished taking photos with students, so the request seemed natural. I clenched my phone. I'd been running around all morning, and this man hadn't spared me a glance. Now he was off taking photos with another woman? What happened to wanting to see me? Kai seemed to sense my gaze and looked over. The math teacher followed his line of sight, blinked, then handed me her phone. "Miss Sophie, could you take the photo for us?" "Me?" Before I could answer, Kai said, "No." Silence. The math teacher clearly hadn't expected him to refuse, let alone on my behalf. Flustered, she said, "Then I'll ask Mr. Wong to take it?" "No need. It's inappropriate," Kai said. She was baffled, her outstretched hand hovering awkwardly. "Why?" Kai kept his eyes on me, his gaze steady, but his words were for her. "I'm pursuing her, so I can't let her misunderstand." "Holy shit!" Faye gasped. "This man's playing straight ball now?" I nodded vigorously. Back then, I'd been the one chasing him. The reversal was overwhelming. "Stay strong." Faye paced, fists clenched. "Don't fall for a pretty face. Keep testing him." I paused, then nodded harder. Senior year keeps him busy. For Daniel's sake, I'll hold out at least until graduation. Faye gave me a look. "You chased him for 3 years, and 3 months of him chasing you is enough?" I pulled up a candid photo of Kai standing with students on the field. Even in a crowd, he shone. Faye deliberated for 3 seconds. "Fine. With that face and body, you'd better enjoy it while you're young." Then she leaned in, grinning. "Speaking of, did you two ever?" "No." I sighed. He wouldn't. 10 practice tests per handhold. You can imagine my uphill battle. "Faye." After a moment, I said, "After graduation, I'll talk to him properly." High school felt endless, but the months before exams flew by. Before I knew it, summer arrived. June. Graduation. Kai was overseeing the exams, so as a guardian, of course I went. "Mr. Kai," Daniel said, "they're having a class dinner tonight. Are you going?" Kai pocketed his hands. "They'll relax more if I'm not there." "Oh." I coughed. Then, "Are you free tonight?" He looked at me. After a pause, he said, "Yes. There's something I want to tell you." At 5 p.m., the last exam ended. Students flooded out, laughing or crying as they bid farewell to their youth. After sending Daniel a red envelope, I made a quick exit, with their homeroom teacher in tow. Ahem. Dinner reservations were hard to get at this hour. While Kai parked, I went to put our names down. Unexpectedly, I ran into Liam. He glanced behind me, surprised. Sophie, you and Kai got back together? I was about to say not yet when he chuckled in relief. That explains it. Curious, I asked. Explains what? Why he's been in such a good mood lately. At first I thought his class's practice scores were up, but that didn't seem right. Now I know it's you. Liam sighed. Since his mom passed, he's never been this at ease. I froze. What? His mother passed away? Liam looked equally shocked. You didn't know? It's been years. He never told you. My chest tightened like a vice, making it hard to breathe. When? Realizing his slip, Liam hesitated. If Kai didn't tell you, then... Never mind. You're back together now. You'll find out eventually. He thought for a moment. I think it was during our freshman year of college? Early May. She overdosed. He took a week off. Came back looking like a ghost. A pause. You broke up after that, so I assumed you knew. Freshman year. Early May. That was when I'd gotten hurt. So, I couldn't bear to finish the thought. I suddenly realized how unfairly I'd treated Kai. The parking lot was full. I had to park outside. Sorry for the delay. Kai sat across from me, his gaze lingering on my face. His voice softened. What's wrong? I looked down. Nothing. Just couldn't decide what to order. He took the menu. Their spicy chicken is good. So's the stir-fried beef. I blurted. You've had them before? A beat. Came here twice with colleagues. I said nothing. Kai couldn't handle spice. Even with hot pot, he'd only eat mushroom or tomato broth. I used to tease him, eating chili peppers then kissing him, watching him chug milk afterward. At work dinners, he'd never order these dishes, let alone eat them. I picked steamed greens and pumpkin soup. After a long silence I spoke. You said you had something to tell me? Kai seemed to weigh his words. I don't know if you still want to hear this, but I owe you an explanation about the past. He grew quiet, as if sifting through memories. I'm illegitimate. My heart clenched. I looked up. His expression was calm, as if discussing someone else. My mother got pregnant, and he married someone of equal status. I only saw him once, at her funeral. Suddenly so much made sense. Why the untouchable top student smoked on rooftops. Why his seat at parent-teacher conferences stayed empty. Why he'd looked so stunned when I promised a birthday gift, then insisted I'd celebrate with him every year. Back then. Kai's lashes cast shadows. I couldn't tell you any of this. I'd never liked anyone so much. When she finally liked me back, what if she stopped after learning the truth? What would I do? I gripped my hands together. After finals, my mother went to see him once. She came back worse. Needed expensive medication. Kai's tone was detached, as if recounting someone else's life. I was desperate. Took every TA job, every side gig. I was afraid I couldn't protect her. Or you. But in the end, she left me anyway. My nails dug into my palms. When? Kai stayed silent. I fought to keep my voice steady. So that day when I texted and you didn't reply, when I called and you didn't answer, that was when I broke up with you, wasn't it? Kai still didn't speak. Another realization struck. You came to find me afterward, didn't you? Kai rotated his cup. Finally, he nodded. Yes. After handling everything, I went to explain. Then I saw you with someone else. Softly, I asked. Why didn't you confront me? You knew how much I loved you, Kai. If you just said something. I didn't want to be selfish. Kai met my gaze. I kept needing proof you wouldn't leave. But that day I realized. I didn't deserve you. You were always radiant. Meant to be adored. Not stuck with someone like me. My voice broke. That's not true, Kai. I loved you. I never felt stuck. You don't get to decide that for me. Tears fell despite my efforts. You can't do this. You let me walk away from the person I loved most without even knowing why. I couldn't imagine Kai reading my breakup text that day. I'd promised to celebrate every birthday with him. I'd broken that promise. For a moment, I didn't know who to blame. Kai's eyes flashed with panic. Sophie, don't cry. The unshakable Kai was rarely this flustered. I wiped my tears and glared at him with red-rimmed eyes. So you'd rather lose me for years than speak up? Why tell me now? Kai's lips pressed together. Then he said, I tried quitting cigarettes. I tried not loving you. Neither worked. When you're here, cigarettes are easy to quit. When you're gone, love grows wild. Sophie, do you still want Kai? Then what? Faye sniffled. Guiltily, I showed her the ring on my finger. She wailed louder. That diamond's huge. So pretty. Me. When's the wedding? Faye dabbed her eyes. Can I pick my bridesmaid dress first? Me. My parents were overjoyed. Only Daniel looked conflicted. So my college exams got you a husband? I pondered this. At least you don't have to worry about us breaking up before graduation. Since we were getting married right after, who could deny my sisterly devotion? Daniel. Whatever. Finalized the high school classmate seating? I leaned over Kai's shoulder. The group chat had exploded when invitations went out. Fair, last time we'd all met at a wedding, Kai and I had acted like strangers. Now we were marrying. Almost. Kai handed me the list. I tapped one spot. Where's Emily? Kai raised a brow. Thought you disliked her. I did. That's why she had to come. Didn't she ask for your WeChat? I wrinkled my nose. I need to mark my territory. Kai nodded solemnly. Done. Then he scooped me up bridal style. Me? Mr. Kai, what are you doing? His hand settled on my waist. Marking territory. However you want. Me? He suddenly stilled. I followed his gaze. He was staring at the scar on my left knee. Self-conscious, I mumbled, It's barely visible now. He kissed it, his breath scalding. I shivered, swallowing the rest of my words. When we came up for air, I whispered in his ear, Kai, I really love you. He held me tighter. Me too. Thank you for loving Kai.
Kai's POV. I've always known I was unwanted. I never met my father. My mother said I looked like him, so sometimes she was kind. More often, she'd stare at me with hatred. No one knew. Parent-teacher conferences went unattended, but my grades excused it. On the first day of high school, she had another episode, smashing dishes. I arrived late. I didn't care. Hey, you! A girl called from behind. I turned. She blinked, cheeks flushing. I'd seen that look before, but her next words surprised me. We're late. She pointed urgently. I'll distract them. You can climb the wall there. She was different. Later, I'd learn how different. Unique. I knew she'd left soy milk on my desk for a week. I drank it while she stared longingly. At the milk, I knew the love note in my physics book was hers. She'd slid it in during study hall in front of everyone. I knew she'd punctured her own bike tire, struggling so hard I'd waited outside the shed. Couldn't date her. If I said yes too easily, would she lose interest just as fast? When she first confessed, I almost nodded. Took everything to stay silent. She complained endlessly, never realizing silence meant yes. I knew she'd chosen science for me, but with her grades, we'd separate after graduation. But she was mine. She'd said it herself. Lush leaves. Meant to entwine. I'd never had a birthday before she gave me one. Best gift. I was busy, tired, but I wouldn't tell her. She was sunshine. She shouldn't dim for someone like me. At the hospital, her breakup text arrived. Then I understood. I needed her, not the other way around. After losing her, I smoked again. I returned to her city, ate at every Sichuan restaurant. When the spice burned my throat, I only wondered, would she like it? I thought I was fine, until I saw her again. No makeup, beautiful as ever. Maybe I've always been selfish. I wanted to try. Kai has nothing. Kai only loves Sophie.